Bull or bear? Let's see. I'm rolling my old trusty coin that I started this video with. Comes up a bear. Let's see what happens. Good morning, folks. I should say afternoon. What's up? This is Brian Kuzmar with our weekend wrap-up report, I guess you can call it. Got the live Deerfield Beach cam going on right now. Looks like some folks out there having some fun. Look at that water, too. Beautiful, despite having a hurricane and windy conditions not too long ago on the other side of the coast. And by the way, I'm fine. Fort Lauderdale just got a bunch of wind and rain. The real damage occurred again on the west side of our state here, not here in South Florida. But man, what a beautiful day. Okay, let's move into precious metals markets and see what's going on here. Give me 1 second and we'll move into that. And let me just reduce that screen. And here we are, folks. There's the closing prices on Friday, which was 2,658. Kind of a down day. Silver, not so much. I mean, silver's trading in that 50-cent dollar range here. And, you know, we've broken through that $30 level. But let's see what happens tonight when the markets open. And the markets open before Monday morning. You know, late night markets or early markets, pre-markets, whatever you want to call them. Platinum at $1,000, hanging on to that $1,000 mark. And again, my tell has been when platinum has been in the red, so it has silver. Silver seems to follow shortly after. Holds up pretty true. If platinum's down just a tiny bit or up a tiny bit, usually it means silver is going to be about the same. But again, that's just an unproven tell that I've noticed here. And I've talked about a few times on Twitter, actually. And if you go to Twitter, you can see my post about that. Well, let's get into what's happening in general. I know the futures markets look a little lame here for gold and silver. I kind of think we might see a stomp down tonight. Tough to say. Gold down 14 in the futures. Let's see. Futures markets. Here we go. A little bit down, 1% for silver, which is not abnormal. You know what I mean? 50-cent dollar moves for silver is not crazy. Gold was reaching up into that 2,700 area, and it's backed off a little bit, but still a lot of strength there. However, again, you know, I'm sure we're going to see some pullback for natural reasons and probably unnatural reasons as well. Just expect them, and my opinion, and again, strictly my opinion, if you haven't bought in already, just buy the dips when you can. You know, buy the little dips a little bit at a time, or buy, you know, again, if you think it's going to go up sometime soon, who the hell knows, real quickly. You know, you may want to jump in all at once. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you folks out there that have still got money or haven't bought in fully yet. And of course, you know, big dips, buy big. That's, again, my opinion. Let's move. Well, what's going on with markets in general? Let's just kind of see futures markets. There we go. Looks like Dow future, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Tough to say. Crude oil up in the green a little bit. Not my expertise. What my expertise is gold and silver markets. And apparently it looks like the gold and silver bull stampede here is looking pretty good. I mean, again, we're going to see some pullbacks. We're going to see, as we always have in gold and silver, but we've been in a gold and silver bull market since 2016. I think anyone shorting big recently, like some of the bankers, this is supposed to be a banker here, is probably going to get run over, again, if they haven't figured a way to offset those losses in their short positions. But, you know, never underestimate the power of the big bullion banks. Never, you know, underestimate the amount of money, especially with silver, how much they can really bully that market, bully that market around. You know, they're big money, small market. It's easy for them to move that market around. But gold, not so much. Gold, central banks can bully that market around, not big bullion banks so much, I should say, and smaller investors. Central banks are the real players in the gold markets. Not so much, and not at all. Central bank players have really no interest in silver, as far as I know. They just buy gold pretty much. All right, let's take a look at some interesting charts here. And no, folks, this is not like the chart over the lifetime of the purchasing power of the consumer dollar. If you take a look, and most of you probably saw this right off the bat, this is this year, man, this last year. We're not even done with 2024. Take a look at that slope. I mean, you know, dollar strength, you know what dollar strength means? We've talked about this so many different times. This is not dollar strength, folks. Even though the dollar has been up above 100, and we're going to talk about that, the dollar index has been well over 100, 129, 130, up until recently. Again, we're going to get into that in just a moment. This is not dollar strength. This is dollar buying power. And as you can see, just in the last year, it's declined dramatically. Should you be surprised? No, probably not. Let's go to a 1 year. There you go. That slope is even bigger over the 1 year. We'll go over the 5 year. It doesn't get any better, folks. I can keep hitting the 10 year. There you go. It doesn't. Maybe a little hill right there in 2021. Don't ask me why. Might have something to do with bailouts or something. But the buying power of the U.S. dollar, folks, in the shitter, it seems like almost month to month now. And again, that's inflation right there. The real thing that confuses most people is this: the dollar index. Well, how can our dollar buy less and less and less? Oh, sorry, folks. Great newsletter, but I'm not going to subscribe. Or site. Great website, by the way, Market Watch, but I'm not going to subscribe. How can the dollar continue to be on the high side? It's over 100. It's 120, 130. When the dollar's buying power goes down, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, a lot of people might say that, but it does, folks, because the dollar index, this DXY index, is not an indication of this right here, your buying power, your consumer buying power, how much a dollar can buy. All right, it has nothing to do with that. Your dollar index has everything to do with the comparison to other major currencies out there, the comparison to the euro, the comparison to the yen, the comparison to the won, the comparison to the peso. All right, the dollar index is not a this chart right here does not, when you see it up like this, does not mean that it buys more goods or that the dollar's buying power is better. In fact, again, if you just take a look at this chart, you know it's not complete opposite. The buying power of the dollar continues to drop, and even worse so over the short period of time we've just seen over this last year. And again, that's what's causing inflation. But the confusing part and the way people get confused is, well, the dollar's strong. No, the dollar is only strong against the other turds in the bucket. All right, that's pretty much true. The dollar is simply, and many of you know this term, the last horse to the glue factory. Okay, doesn't mean that it buys more. Dollar strength simply implies that it's better compared to other currencies out there, which don't buy any more either, folks. I don't think there's anyone out there doing good in the currency world. Or the fiat world, I guess we'll say. U.S. gold prices versus U.S. dollar correlation. You know, I don't get into these charts very often with you guys because it's not in my wheelhouse, really. I'm not an expert in charts. You know, I got enough knowledge to be dangerous, but I can see patterns, and that's what we see here, right here. Take a look at the pattern here: gold price and U.S. dollar correlation. And again, this is not dollar buying power. This is the DXY. This is the dollar index, okay, more or less, dollar strength. And as you can see, it's an inverse relationship, more or less, and it has been. This chart doesn't go back that far. I'm really surprised it doesn't go back further than this. I guess that's just when they started it. If you know the answer why to that, let me know. I'm sure they've been tracking this stuff for a long time, longer than 2006. But let me not digress down why they don't have earlier charts than this. Let's just take a look. It's an inverse relationship for the most part. It is. Take a look. I mean, the gold is in the orange and the dollar is in the blue. And as you can see, through 2011, 2012, when we saw our last bull market, after the 2000, there's a recession right there. This is what they call a recession. I don't think we've ever really gotten out of it. I just think the numbers lie. But again, let me not jump down that rabbit hole and talk about this chart. The inverse relationship here, as you can see, the dollar is just completely getting hammered against the other currencies. Again, the dollar index against the basket of currencies. Don't ask me what currencies are stronger, or why, or what, and why the DXY is so much lower. Again, you experts out there, you can let me know in the comment section. But here you go. There's that inverse relationship. When the dollar is really weak, below that 90 point, you know, below 90, below 100, gold's doing well. But as you can see, the dollar starts to creep up. You've got dollar strength there. And the question you've got to ask yourself is, you know, this is kind of a good indicator. I mean, this is, you know, you can kind of see there is a direct inverse relationship here. Why? Some will say it's because that the dollar strength and the Fed purposely keep the price of gold down, and when the price of gold starts going up like this, that's their kind of canary in the coal mine. That's their signal that they've got to create a stronger dollar. And here you go. You can kind of see that. Is that the real answer why? I don't know, but there's definitely a correlation between the dollar and the and gold for sure. Now I'm going to do a year to date, except for, this is kind of strange here. Well, there you go. There's your I'm going to get into an except for chart in a minute. Except for, sorry, I got a little ahead of myself here. Again, there's your inverse chart right there. There's gold going up. There's dollar strength coming down. Now this chart ends in 2024, and look what they show the price of gold at 26.22. Currently, let's take a look again. Dollar's at 100, so that chart lags a little bit behind. So dollar strength is down quite a bit, which tells me, if we take a look at this chart, that just means gold is probably going to head higher, especially when the dollar DXY gets below that 100 mark. Sorry, $100 mark. Let's take a look bit longer. Let's see if it's even been there below 100. I mean, I'm just kind of curious again, getting outside my wheelhouse a little bit. No, I don't think we have snapped below 100 on the dollar index yet, but it's looking like we're going to, and I think when we do, we're going to see a chart similar to this right here. You see when gold starts just climbing up. Well, we already are. Let's see where this chart gets updated and where it goes. But folks, I think with the weaker dollar against the basket of currencies out there, it's strange too, because lowering interest rates, you would figure that the dollar index would have been a little bit stronger, but maybe there's an inverse relationship there. Sure wish I had somebody out there like Vince from VBL, Vince Lancy, to explain that to me. Smart guy. Anyways, there you go. If you don't know who he is, he's a great person to listen to on as far as gold and silver markets. He's on X, Twitter, Vince Lancy, VBL, I believe it is. Here's the one chart that kind of gets me too. Gold prices versus oil prices, and you're kind of saying, well, what's the why gold and oil? Why do you tie those two together? Give me 1 second here. Well, I can't give you a great answer on that. The best answer I can give you is that the relationship between gold and oil, and I remember this as a kid, it might be complete nonsense, all right, but that the Saudis were getting paid or in gold or something like that, or trading gold for oil, and there was some relationship with. I don't think that's true. I don't know exactly what the gold and oil price relationship is, but again, here you go, folks. Here's another, chart that kind of not inverse, but works in tandem. Gold and oil seem to have worked in tandem with with each other for all these years. These two commodities, which are entirely different from each other, but how do you explain that? How do you explain gold and oil kind of work in tandem? I mean, take a look at the chart here, except for this point right here, but we're going to get into that in a moment. Let's just kind of move along here, and you can see through the 70s and the 80s and 90s. I mean, they really are somewhat working in tandem, the gold and silver prices here. And as oil goes up, you can see gold starts to creep up there as well. But here you go. Here's an interesting time right here, 2007, 2008. What's 2008, and what's the significance? I mean, most all you know that 2008 was they call it the great financial collapse, but I think we're going to see a greater one soon. But again, I don't want to digress. Take a look at the price of oil shooting up to that 115, 120, I think, or something like that, $125 a barrel during 2008. That's during a crisis. You see the little gray line there? That's the recession. What do you folks make of this? What do you make of? And again, oil is still, gold's still rising up through that point too as well. But man, take a look at that spike in oil. I don't quite remember what caused it, but both these lines are moving in tandem. Then all of a sudden, there you go, 2013, 2014, when the Fed starts to get its shit together, pardon the language, gold starts to drop dramatically. This is when they're doing they pump their money in their QE stuff, and it probably starts to affect the economy. Don't ask me why, but I would bet you there's dollar strength in this period, DXY strength, not consumer buying power strength, but DXY strength through this period as well, if you take a look. And that's probably the reason for this precipitous fall, as you can call it, in gold and oil as well. But here's something interesting I just look at. Again, you can see that they both move in tandem, but not two periods they really don't. 2020, as you can see here, and you're saying, well, look, man, oil just fell off a cliff in 2020, and then gold's at 1720. I mean, why do they kind of decouple there when they've kind of been together through this romantic relationship all through this time, except for 2008? Well, again, like 2008, there's another thing going on here. Complete shutdown of the economy. Oil gets completely monkey hammered because nobody's doing anything, nobody's traveling. Air traffic, road travel, everything has come to a standstill, including pumping oil out of the ground and selling oil, and gas stations are quiet. That's my explainable reason in 2020 is because of the complete shutdown of the economy, more or less. And again, you know my conspiracy theory on that. I believe they shut the economy down purposely because it was about to explode. It had nothing to do with what was happening in 2020 with the Critter 19. But again, I digress there again. But take a look at that. There's a big difference there. And here's another difference that I kind of just saw because I was saying, does that appear anywhere else? Well, yes. Take a look at here. What marks the difference in 2024? I mean, in 2008, the financial crisis. Well, there you can see gold and silver kind of separate. I mean, gold and oil separate. 2020, gold and silver or oil, separate. So what causes it here in 2025? Well, I'll tell you what causes it here. This is the election, my friends. This is the election. Oil is down right here. And the only reason it's not going up with the price of gold like it would normally do during normal times is not a recession, not a 2008 stock crisis, not a 2020 closure, but what you got here is massive amounts of oil probably being dumped on the market, and that's probably has something to do with it's an election time. Think about that. This is election time cheap oil. That's my opinion. Gold's continuing to rise, but this is not natural. Neither was actually the 2008 market we saw back here. It wasn't natural. Neither was the 2020 market we saw here where it kind of separated from each other right there. See it? Not natural. This is not natural. So, I mean, kind of, things do show up on charts. I don't believe charts can necessarily tell you where you're going to go, but I believe they are like roadmaps on where you've been. And if you start to line them up with historic events and things like that, you can really start to see a clear picture of what's going on here. And there you go, folks. That's my opinion. I'm going to stick with it. But silver, I mean, if we were going to line up a map with silver and oil, how does that perform? And let's actually take a look at times of stress during what silver did. Why oil's fresh in our mind and gold's fresh in our mind here. 2008, there's your financial collapse right there. Boom, silver gets whacked. I've seen that period right there. But, again, that's paper silver got whacked. Physical silver was on like a 2-month delivery, and premiums were like double the price of what paper silver actually was at the time. But take a look at the price of silver. Boom, back up again, up over a period of time here. Then we get back to that 2020, unnatural times, unnatural event, not a natural event. I mean, more or less speaking, that's why we see that spike right there. And anyway, silver. Kind of reacting to the same events as gold and oil, following along more than likely. So kind of interesting charts. And if you they show recessions in here, but they don't really show historic events, and they don't show that 2020 there was closures here. They show a recession. They don't show that this is probably oil, more than likely election related. The oil prices versus gold prices. So a lot of things you can look at a chart and kind of figure out where we're going. I suspect, I don't know crap about oil, but I suspect this not being natural, that oil prices are going to shoot up here at some point and again get back to their correlation with the price of gold, or what seems to be a long time correlation. Boy, I sure wish I had some friends to talk to like that out there. Let me know what you think in the comment section as well. Maybe I'll ask Vince. Vince Lancey, he's like my new Ted Butler kind of. I like the guy. I think he's really smart. I like the way he presents stuff. Let's get out of charts and things and look at what a couple things that I found interesting here. Iran's gold imports up 6-fold in 6 months as country evades sanctions. Well, of course. What else would you expect? Gold. Gold is real money. They know that their money is kind of fiat, the real or whatever it might be. Not sure. I think that might be Saudi money, but whatever Iran's money is, they know it's fiat. They know that the world's not going to take it. What will the world take from Iran? Whether Iran wants to buy weapons or food, they'll take their gold. That's for damn sure. But they're not going to take their currency. They're not the top dog out there. The dollar's the top dog still. Remember the DXY, the dollar index we're talking about, and how it compares to other currencies. It's still the top dog out there, except for gold. Gold is the top dog. Why is gold a top dog? Better than the U.S. dollar? Because it can avoid sanctions. And there's a limited amount of it. And doggone it, people just like it. All right, Iran's gold imports up. Not quite sure what that means. Gold repatriation shifting from north to south. I think this talks about Germany and these other countries are kind of bringing back their gold to their countries because they don't trust it. A lot of people don't trust England, the London holding their gold. A lot of people don't trust the U.S. holding their gold. That's why you saw a lot of countries want their gold back from the Federal Reserve and the New York vaults. I mean, Germany was one of the first big ones to ask. What do they trust? They trust gold. They don't trust promises or contracts signed on paper. They don't trust paper dollars, no matter who makes them, fiat dollars. They trust gold, folks, and they wanted their gold back. Let's move into Ghana. Central bank launches gold to boost savings. Tanzania, I'm sorry, I probably pronounced it, orders gold miners and dealers to reserve 20%. That's smart. A lot of these African countries are realizing that they've been taken for years and years by French and English colonialism. Forgive me for saying that, really French colonialism, which is still happening today. The French flood these African countries with their cheap-ass currencies, and then they get back a lot of the gold and the rich deposits that are in these African countries. It's really a crappy deal for Africa. It always has been. The French have been great for taking advantage of that for decades and decades. But you know what? I don't hold the French, at fault. The United States takes advantage of our partners. So does other countries. But the French have really got it at a epic level of perfection when it comes to Africa. They always have. The fact that they're still there surprises me. Let's move into ZH, what's going on there. Peter Schiff, gold to 26,000. I don't know who put that title in there, but man, I get accused of some clickbait titles. And actually, we got to go back to my video here too. I want to thank people for watching last week's video, and we'll get that up. But my title was what was last week's video title? It said, are we going to see $3,000 gold next? How much past 50 will silver go? And I got a couple, hey, that's clickbait titles on the Wall Street Silver Forum and a couple of others. And that's from people that don't bother to watch the video. They just read. They're the same people that read a title on a book and think they know what the book is about. But I got a few of those. And if you watched last week's video, I wasn't clickbaiting you. But man, that's gold to 26,000. All right, let's hit it. Is that a clickbaiter? Let's see here. Does it say anywhere that gold? I'm a fan of Peter Schiff, by the way. And why is that opening up in a different window? It should kind of open up there, but let's take a look here. Oh, no, hold on. Sorry about that. I just didn't open it up properly. There we go. Recent surge in gold prices, whether hit by 3,000 a year, potentially 6,000 next year. All right. Man, if it goes 6,000 next year, it probably means that Kamala won and that the shit's just hitting the fan. I doubt that, but the recent surge, all right, both Schiff and I expressed concerns about U.S. economy being broke. Okay, there we go. Compares today's bull market to the 70s, and this is the beginning of a new bull market, unlike 79 when the market peaked. I would agree and disagree with Peter Schiff on that. In fact, we've been in a bull market since 2016. I'm telling you, folks, we're not in a beginning of a new bull market. I don't know why Peter doesn't recognize this and the author doesn't, but we have been in a bull market since 2016. There seems to be people out there that think bull markets have to have a candlestick. What is that candlestick when it goes straight up, or a 45-degree angle, or whatever? It's not true, folks. Bull markets can be long-term over a period of time, and you just don't see it. You don't know you're in it. All right, now we're feeling it, but I don't think so. I think we've been in a bull market. Then I digress. But I disagree with that. But I agree for the most part with a lot of stuff. Schiff argues that while interest rates in '79 ended, but the gold bull market, the current trend, and yes, it did. The interest rates were just insane in 1980s. There were CDs that were paying 12, 13% plus. I mean, CDs, folks. All right. But they did that purposely to knock down the price of gold and to make it more, to invest in America, invest in treasuries, invest in bonds, and get out of gold, because that's where we're going. But remember, that market was basically, we had gotten off the gold standard not too long ago, so they were in a desperate mode at the time. But let's move along here. Schiff argues that while interest rates in '79 ended the gold bull market, the current trend or rate cuts will continue to fuel gold's rise. I think the current trend rates, but you know what? Here's another thing that, yes, rate cuts will continue to fuel gold, the rise of gold, but you know how people say, well, rising rates will hurt the price of gold. That's complete nonsense. I mean, real rates would hurt the price of gold, but we don't have real rates. And even if we did have real rates to a minor degree, it's not enough to worth investing in. I mean, I think they use the data to come up with for real rates now. Official real rates are based on official government data, which is nonsense and bullshit anyway. You'd have to get real rates. You'd have to get interest rates back to a point where 10%, 12%, 15%. All of a sudden you're getting CDs for 15%. Yeah, you're going to get some weak, but we're past that point. We're not in 1979, 79. We're in a totally different place, a totally different country, a totally different amount of numbers here. I mean, we're not talking millions or billions anymore. We're talking trillions, folks. We're talking huge amounts of money and huge amounts of interest. I mean, huge amounts of the dollar's decline and buying power. I mean, there's so many things different that, yeah, you can compare it a little bit 79, but it's not the same for sure. I think what you can compare it to is 2008, and what we're going to see is a 2008 crisis is even bigger than 2008. That's my opinion. 79, yeah, maybe a little bit. The conversation touches on inflation-adjusted gold price, suggesting that gold remains undervalued when adjusted for true inflation, which the CPI does. Okay, kind of what I said. The CPI doesn't reflect true inflation. The strange phenomenon of retail investors selling gold during one of the best performing years highlighted, attributing this to lack of confidence and distraction by, I don't agree with that. I don't think it's distraction by Bitcoin at all. I think that Bitcoin is not a distraction for most folks. It's confusion for most folks. There is a percentage of people that understand it, they're big on it, and they're smart. But it is, to this day, I still have no concept or idea how to buy it. I still am frightened the hell out of the loss of internet or electricity or losing it. I'm still frightened the hell out of, maybe losing my password, because I know I lose my keys every day. I lose my freaking car keys on a daily basis. A password, come on. Especially a long password, and expect me not to lose it? I don't think so. But again, a lot of guys are going to say, oh, you're just a dinosaur. And yes, perhaps I am. But there's still a lot of dinosaurs out there like me that don't have a clue. And we still make up a large segment of the population. But anyway, I don't believe that's true. The role of Bitcoin as distraction from gold investment is discussed, with Schiff noting that Bitcoin has underperformed relative to gold and criticizing Bitcoin as fool's gold. Peter Schiff has called Bitcoin fool's gold, blah, blah, blah. But I don't really believe he believes that. I honestly don't. He pals around with it. You know how like Congress people, or in the old school, senators and congressmen, Republicans and Democrats would like yell at each other or go at each other during, when the cameras are on, and after hours they were talking about fishing and having dinner with each other. I think it's the same with Peter Schiff and a lot of the big crypto guys out there. And I tell you what it is the big crypto guys out there, Peter Schiff is gold for them. I mean, he creates controversy. He is the guy that will attract attention to Bitcoin for Bitcoiners, because he's that guy that gets people all riled up, the other Bitcoiners riled up, and gets other. So Peter really is kind of, in a weird way, great advertising for that market, and I think he knows it. I think the Bitcoin people know it, and I don't really believe he believes it's fool's gold either. But I do know that Peter does know the difference between Bitcoin and gold. They're apples and oranges, folks. Anybody that does a comparison is a fool, all right? There is no comparison between gold and Bitcoin, none. And I'm not denigrating Bitcoin at all. It's just they're apples and oranges, two different things, two different products, two different types of people that may buy them, many different things, okay? Schiff predicts a significant fall in the value of the U.S. dollar. Here, I'm going to get a sip of coffee. Sorry about that. Exacerbate trade deficit and foreign central banks increase preference for gold over U.S. dollars. I think he's absolutely right about that. We're talking about that. The BRICS nations and a lot of other nations wanting their gold. But Germany, not even a BRICS nation, wants its gold back. All right, why? Because they know the value of it, and they can see the future, and that's why they want it. They don't want you to want it, but they want to own it. The mainstream's financial media's neglect of gold rises criticized. I have been saying that for the last couple years. Gold continues to make all-time highs, and you do not see it anywhere in the media. This tells me one thing. The media is a contrived piece of shit. Corporate media, run by a bunch of, anyways. Don't let me go there. I could go there. But yeah, we haven't seen any media. I mean, 2012, 1980s, when 1980, when gold and silver markets just rocketed. It was on the news every night. The new highs were being, you'd see it every new, even though they weren't fond of gold at the time, those two times. Even 2012 to some degree. Now, fucking zipped, folks. It's like the best kept secret. Gold hitting all-time highs all over and over is the best kept secret out there in the media. And that is true, absolutely true. And you guys know it because you're seeing it too. All right, what does that mean? Well, why would they keep it a secret? Why do they want it to keep it a secret? Well, they don't want people dumping their Wall Street paper stocks. They don't want people dumping their bonds and their treasuries. They don't want people dumping paper assets for gold. That is the truth of the matter. Why else would they keep it a best kept secret, folks? Why? Think about it. Meanwhile, you've got China out there pushing their citizens to buy gold, as well as some other countries like Russia too, I believe. Hey, listen, if you haven't seen me out on Twitter, X, I don't even want to call it Twitter because it was really crap then, but wonderful place. Lots of cool people, learn lots of things. And as you can see, I delve into politics more here because why? Because you can. They don't take you and shove you down and make sure nobody watches your stuff, or you don't get your message out there on this particular forum like they do other forums. You can get as long as you're not wanting to hurt anyone, you can get away with a lot. I also talk about media, not media, but Hollywood stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood. I kind of follow him, and there's a picture of him shopping at a store. Would you approach him if he was in a store and he had that look on his face? Do you feel lucky, punk? I don't know. And I just read this on Twitter too, or X. God, I can't call it Twitter. That Russia just claimed they took out 4 U.S.-made jets. Hasn't been confirmed in some ground and pound that they've been doing with missiles and stuff. A lot of things, actually. And I even heard there was a rumor out here that says that BB Netan, I can't even pronounce his name, the Israeli guy, was wounded or hurt last night, whether it's a rocket or whether he fell downstairs or something. X is a great place to get kind of breaking news. Now, you got to wait a little bit to see if it confirms, but man, you'll hear stuff out on X an hour or two, or even a day or two, and maybe stuff you'll never hear on your corporate news media stations, on your computer when you're tuning into whatever news sources you get out there. If they come from a corporate source, you can pretty much guarantee you've been lied to. So make sure you catch me out here and hit the like and subscribe button out here on my Twitter channel, and also on my YouTube channel. If you happen to be watching me on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button as well. I appreciate that very much. I got to look at last week's video and go into a few things. But first, what I forgot to do is best deals, man. Hang on one second. I was going to put up my spreadsheet again. There's all my best deals. I got a page of best deals. All right. Listen, in quantities of 100 ounces or more, don't be paying $1.79 more on 1 ounce generic rounds. On Silver Eagles, just don't buy them at spot plus $4.75 over spot. That's my price for 100 ounces or more. Again, large quantities, I can beat anyone's prices out there as well. Don't pay more than $4.75 if you have to own a Silver Eagle. They're just overpriced, folks. Why would you buy one when you can buy a 1 ounce round for $1.79 over? It just doesn't make any sense to me. 1 ounce Maple Leaf, spot plus $3. Again, overpriced in my opinion. 10 ounce bars, a little bit overpriced too. I don't know why. It seems to be a minor shortage of them out there. Spot plus $2.65. Best deals out there for sure. I have tons of them. 100 ounce, tons of them. Probably literally 100 ounce silver bars, a spot plus $1.10 over. Man, that's a great price if you're into the point where you want to buy larger increments and you've already got all your 1 ounces done. You can't beat the price of hundreds at a spot plus 110. Kilos, 190 over. This seems a little pricey to me, but again, I think there is a shortage on some bars out there. Gold on Eagles have come down a little bit in price, spot plus 120 thereabouts. Don't pay more than that. Same thing with gold buffaloes. 1 ounce KRs don't pay more than spot plus $60. That's a great price. I think KRs are still the freaking best deal out there. Maples might be 65 over, but I don't like maples. They get scratched up and ugly. And then the dealer doesn't want to buy them because they got a freaking scratch in them. I know, it's stupid, but that's the way it is. Customers don't want to buy them when they have a scratch in them. That's why I don't like maple leaves. Too soft, too ugly when they get scratched. And then you get discounted. 1 ounce bars are like spot plus 56, but man, I am cheap, but $4 cheap on a gold Krugerrand. I'd go for the Krugerrand for $4 extra more. But if I was going to buy 100 bars versus Krugerrands, that's a $400 savings. I'd take the bars in because again, it's $400 on 100 ounces. $400 to buy a nice dinner and a bottle of wine for you and your gal. I'd rather see you do that than buy premium. All right, folks. Hey, let me go to what I need to find. Let's get my YouTube page up here. YouTube, so I can talk about last week's video here. Give me 1 second here. Is that my YouTube page? I hope it is. And taking a little bit while to load there. Here, let's get through. There's my channel.
Are you buying or selling gold, silver?
Yeah, definitely call me if you are. Yes, let's do last week's video, folks. How much past $50 will silver go? Bull or bear? Let me do older comments, newest comments to older comments, and then I'm going to go to the bottom page. I know it's counterintuitive, isn't it? Come plus. I don't think I can answer them all here, but I want to acknowledge every one of you, and that's why I like to scroll up the page. Silver Rose, thank you very much. Thank you, Marcus Aurelius. Appreciate that. If everyone owned an ounce, it'd be a lot harder for us to amass a couple $100,000. How much will it come to stash? Interesting question. You guys pose really good, interesting questions and comments out there. John Gordon, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you posting. Cancel contracts, possible, like they did with nickel. Now, you folks are reading along with me too. I usually read these out, but I kind of skimming over it. And again, you probably read this before I just said this. Silverliner, what's up, man? Nice to see you posting. I'm starting to think platinum isn't going to persist. Yep. When you said that, no sooner than you said that, she shot up well above that $1,000 mark, but she's backed off a little bit. Platinum Eagles are pretty. Okay. Visit if you're in town. Make sure you call me first, so I'm in and out of this place all the time. PJ Mike says, thanks for helping make sense of opaque and corrupt silver markets. Thank you, PJ Mike. Make sure you spread the word around too. Jim Lewis, how you doing? Bought a tube of silver. No, I don't think so. I don't think it would affect the silver at all. If every single one of us bought even 1,000 ounces of silver. We're such a small, a community. That was the kind of illusion with the Wall Street silver. Now, while it did create a lot of interest and probably got some people to buy large quantities of it, the real price discovery is made by paper contracts in that corrupt CME group market called Crimex. All right. But again, I digress. Been there too many times. Industrial use. Hold on. You hit it right there. Industrial use is the real dog that's going to wag the tail one time, or at some point the real dog that's going to wag the tail is exactly what you pointed out, Jim. It's industrial use. That's it. Hit it right on the head, sir. M2 money is 14 higher than it was 1980. Yep, we were just talking about this stuff. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Michael says break the LBM in COMEX or run away from it. It's happening now. It kind of looks that way, doesn't it? But never underestimate the power of these crooks with too much money in a small market like silver. Prices and no regulation that's enforced, at least. Prices are going higher. Yep, I agree with you. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Dave Dude lives in town, New Hampshire. Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I got to take a look at some of these guys. And again, if you guys put their links in my links out here, I'll take a look at them for sure. Appreciate that. The fact that silver is useful keeps the price so low. Who owns all these industries that produce all these things you mentioned? I don't think the industry itself keeps anything low. I don't think manufacturers, other than hedging maybe themselves, have anything to do with keeping prices of silver so low, sir. It has everything to do with large bankers collusively working together in the small market that is called the Crimex silver market. Probably the same thing with the London markets as well. Can you be more consistent? Yes, sir. I'd love to do some more videos. I'll do my best, sir. I really appreciate that, and thanks for your support. And you rock too, bro. Silver Cobra gives me a big hiss. There you go, big snaky hiss. I moved my precious metal IRA from Delaware deposits to SD Bullion. Your thoughts on this? Well, as you know in my last video, or this video that I'm commenting about, I'm not a fan of IRAs. But if you have to own one, just look for the one that has the cheapest. Look for the, whether it's SLV. SLV I think is better than Sprott. I'm sorry to say that, but I've owned Sprott for a long time, and when I first owned Sprott, it was like within $1 or $2 of the gold price, silver price, and it followed that for a while. But it seems like fees or whatever the hell they did to it, it's separated so much from the silver price. It's like $10 a share. Again, it used to be, it was $10 a share when I bought it. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't make any sense. So I got killed with fees. And if anyone from Sprott wants to tell me I didn't, I tried to call them. They tried to explain it to me, but I know exactly what happens. The fees from Sprott. Not to mention the fees you're going to hit from your IRA, from the custodian for your IRA. I don't think it's a good deal. I don't. I really don't. But then again, what do I know? Maybe making a more riskier bet in miners. I don't know how much money you got in your IRA, and I don't know how much you can, but I'm not a fan of them. I'm just not. I've done better holding on to silver, that's for sure. And let's hear what else you got going on here. Thank you, Silver Cobra. Jed Clampett, tell you a story about a man named Jed. We're drowning in gold, not so with silver. Silver surpasses, yeah, I think we're drowning in gold. Not, yeah, agree with you 100% there, bud. Fine. There's people that say that there's more available above ground gold than there is silver, and they may be right. After getting into PMs for 7 years, it dropped to 19 an ounce. It's good to see them responding to. Yep. Ooh, so many different correlations, so many different answers to that. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate you watching there. Hope you got a chance to get some answers on that question in this last video, or this video I'm doing now. Twitch radio. Crensworthy, thanks, man. Appreciate that. And I appreciate you watching me. Retirement on my gold, stop buying at 2,000. You're going to do well. I believe you're going to do very well. You take care as well. They'll knock it down as long as they can. You're right, Dave. Pontius says, I believe we'll see 25 again before we see 37. We are in a seasonal time right now with where typically in October, November, gold and silver does get a hit seasonally this time of year. Or coming up this time of year. So let's see what happens. But again, my opinion, buy the big dips big, buy the little dips little. And for you guys that haven't bought in, let's hope, and people that have more ammo, money to throw into gold and silver, let's hope it does go down for you guys. I'm ready for it to go up, though. I'm pretty much bought in. 100, and a lot of you guys too are well. Thank you, Nostradamus. Appreciate that. What a bunch of BS. You don't calm down and see if we get to 30 today. Clickbait. Oh, come on, Mr. Fly. What a clickbait. Let's look at this title, guys. Anyway, that's what I was saying earlier. I don't know what to tell you. What did I respond to? Hang on a second. If it can get to 35. I think I bet you said the same thing about $15 silver, and I do this for a living 5 days a week plus 40 years. All right, that was a little snickety of me, but you? I shouldn't have said it that way. I do apologize, Mr. Flying Low, but again, I bet you said the same thing about $30 silver and the same thing about $25 silver. My Mr. Flying Low, it's not a matter of if, it's when, and I'm not worked up about it. Believe it or not, I've not been worked up about higher or lower prices. I understand this market fully. Do you? Thanks for watching, though. I appreciate it, and I'm sorry if I did sound a little snickety there. I think that's a good word to use. Mark says, I'm still happy I still have my silver stack and bought more. Cool, man. We'll never see the new all-time again. And silver will never see a new all-time. Nah, that's not true. Not true at all, Mark. But anyways, I'm glad you got gold in lieu of that. But I think you're going to be unhappy that you didn't own silver. Love the way you think 10 times work. I still own 70s early. Thanks, Mark Hall. Nice to see you posting there. Thanks for the show. Stop by your local coin store Monday and exchange some currency for some gold and silver. Thanks, Pat. Nice to see you doing that. And by the way, if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, check us out. Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We're in South Florida. We have a brick and mortar. We'll beat any of the guys down here pretty much, any of the big guys. We'll also beat the big guys online. SD, JM, Atmex, Bullion, pretty easy to beat anyway. All the big 800-pound gorillas out there, including Miles Franklin, but who doesn't have a brick and mortar, I don't think, but he does a lot of stuff on the phone. We'll beat all these guys. And why do I bring up all their names, including Miles Franklin? Because I respect them. And if you want to get a bigger business and a better business and do better for yourself, you have to beat the big guys. And you have to go out there and beat the big, respectable guys. And I will, and I do. So if you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, give us, and you're in South Florida, make sure you look us up. If you're looking to buy larger quantities of gold and silver, we don't have a traditional website, but you can call us and we can do bank wires and secure shipping to where you need it, just like the other guys do it. And if you don't have a good local dealer like me in your 1 hour, 2 hour drive, trust me, folks, even though I'm trying to solicit your business, you will need a good local dealer to sell your stuff to, because none of you are going to want to do it through the mail. Ship your stuff, worry whether it gets there, worry whether the guy stays in business or not. Find a good local dealer you can do face-to-face transactions with. And if you can't, definitely call me if you're looking to buy larger quantities. And if you live in South Florida, you don't need to. Just come and see me. All right, there, I got my advertisement going there. Platinum, Palladium, crypto investments. Simply appreciate your comment there, Eliminator. Again, I'm not going to crap on cryptos anymore. Get it? Crap on cryptos. And I never really did. I just didn't understand them. I always admitted that. Okay. And I have my concerns. Yeah, I got to fix. Everything on my website gets broken. I don't know what it is. Thank God it's not a website where I sell product. It's just a website to tell you who I am and what we do. And you'll see at the end of the video here. $50 silver is nothing. Try it. 325 million ounces of real silver. There you go, Stephen. If 2 dimes bought a gallon of gas in 1960 and buys more than a gallon today, is silver really undervalued? No, it is not. I agree with you 100%. I just said that there's 8 times more. Yeah, we just talked about that. Pretty cool stat there. I'd like to see if you got a link that can kind of confirm that. That's or where you've seen that before. Thank you, gold and silver. Past $50. Yeah, right. When, not soon. John, ye of little faith. Yeah, right. All right, there you go, brother. It'll happen. Silver won't be free until manipulation stops. Yeah. But the manipulation won't stop because of regulation. The manipulation will stop because they've broken the system. And I believe that's what they've done or have doing. That's when physical starts wagging the tail, which is the paper markets. Big moment for British stackers. Gold at, yeah, man. For in terms of dollars, I mean, we've seen it, but in terms of other currencies, yeah, absolutely there, John. Well, folks, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you've not hit it before. Nice to see a little more subscribers up there, and make sure you share my videos and ask them to hit the like and subscribe button as well. I'm very interactive with my audience in my comment section, and especially on Twitter, as I've been telling you guys, really active out there. But that's about it, folks. I'm going to let it go, and as I always say, think for yourself, question authority. And, question yourself first. I say that all every video. Question yourself first. Make sure what you believe to be the truth is the truth to the best of your abilities. And it makes so much easier to go out and question others, and especially question authority. Well, that's it, folks. Have yourself a wonderful day. And here is the website working right now at the moment. I don't think the link is, though. Thanks for watching. It's Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals. We'll talk to you this week, and have yourself what's left of a wonderful Sunday, and talk to you soon. Bye now.